So after studying what separates broke 20-somethings from millionaire 40-somethings, we found 10 patterns that tend to predict quite a bit here. So why don't you imagine hitting 40 with skills that are so valuable that money becomes a tool and not a stress, because you had spent time investing in yourself instead of stuff. Because while everyone else was trying to impress people who don't even matter, you were quietly trying to build something that actually would last. So today we're breaking down these 10 specific patterns that predict whether you'll become wealthy in 10 or 20 years, or if you'll still be in the same place financially. And some of these mistakes are so subtle that you don't even realize that you're making them until it's too late. So this is an episode that I wish everyone under 35 would watch. But honestly, I know plenty of 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds who still desperately need to understand this. So let's get to it. Does everybody know about VidAngel?
I don't know. I keep telling people about it and they're like, what? It's great.
We need to get VidAngel to sponsor the podcast. If you know anybody, let us know. So, unsponsored by VidAngel, but it's really cool. Like, because we don't like a lot of
cussing,
nudity.
gore.
I mean,
right.
Anyway,
we're sensitive to what we watch.
We're just trying to keep things out of what we put into our eyes and ears. And VidAngel is cool because I think what most people think it is just a Christian platform with just Christian shows. But actually,
that's what I thought it was.
They take all of the most popular shows and movies and put them on there, and then they just re-edit it and pull stuff out.
Right.
And you get to pick what you want pulled out. So it's super cool.
There are people, because like we'll watch a show on VidAngel and I'll be like, oh yeah, I watched that show. And people will look at me like, you did? Well, that was pretty, or we watched a show.
Christian?
Yeah, we watched a show with our kids. That was a great show, but it had a ton of cussing in it. It was a British show and it just had a ton of cussing in it. And I have people give me this like side eye, like, how
Terrible
are you
parent.
showing this to your children? And I'm like, oh, we watched it on VidAngel. Like you forget because it doesn't, it's not like,
Yeah. So
it doesn't have like a bar across the middle of it that says VidAngel the whole time. Like, it's just the regular show. It just kind of.
I'll see if we have a referral code. If we have a referral code, we'll put it in the show notes.
It really is great.
But
it's helpful.
But we've loved it. It's been great because there's so many shows that we just wouldn't watch them, but now we can watch them and cut out whatever we want to cut out. So it works great. Anyway. So today, what I want to talk about are 10 patterns that predict if you will be rich or broke 10, 20 years from now.
Oh.
And again, like a lot of what we do on this podcast is I ask the question of what would I have liked to have heard 20 years ago?
Right.
And what lessons would I have needed earlier in my journey? And this is one of those that I think some of these would be real, real helpful for me.
So in other words, pass this on to your friend who is a college student,
pay them to listen to it.
Okay, there you go.
Like I'm a big fan of, we have already paid different forms of currency to our kids to read books, and we will definitely do more and more of that as they get older. Because it's like, why not?
Their current favorite currency is these little things they call them little critters. And they're literally like tiny little
animals.
What are they made out of?
Like
resin
hard plastic
or something? Hard
like
plastic?
It's probably 3D printed, I would guess. Yeah. Anyway.
And they're like, can I have 3 critters? I'll do that for 3 critters.
So it's either screen time or that or
ice cream.
Money, like occasionally.
Sometimes they'll want, if they're saving for something.
Yeah. So some of the inspiration for this came from Alex Hormozy and an article or video I saw him post. But anyway, so I want to just kind of talk through 10 of these. So number 1, overspending on status and underspending on education. Okay. And so the point, again, just to kind of bring this back, is what are the patterns that are going to predict whether or not you're going to be broke or you're going to be doing well financially 10, 20 years from now? Okay, so if you are consistently overspending on status and underspending on education, you're going in the wrong direction.
Right.
Yeah, and it's easy to do.
Do you just want to look smart, or do you want to actually be smart? I think is the question here, right?
Well, yeah, and I think let's start with the status piece, because it's like, it's easy to look at 20-somethings, oh, they're so obsessed with status, and they got to have these, whatever, the Jordans, and they got to have the Gucci bags, and they got to have this and that, blah, blah, to feel like they are something special. But the truth is, is that I don't think that really goes away. I think it just shifts, becomes a little bit more concealed as we get older.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So we're now in our early 40s, but man, I know plenty of people in this decade and in the next decade that still have their ways of
Showing their status.
Sure. You know what I mean? And so I don't think we need to get into details. I think we all understand what that means. But the point is that I think this is something that if we allow it, can still, no matter what age we are, hinder our financial growth.
Yep.
And then the other side of this, the education piece, it's like there is no better money that can be spent on educating yourself. And we've talked about this a lot. Like I don't, that might mean college, but I actually think in many cases it doesn't. I mostly, like the best money that I've ever spent on education normally is in a book or a course that I took outside of college.
Well, and is it okay if I just bring this straight back to
Sure.
the Bible? Because that is what we're doing here. Is fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Yes.
And
okay.
like,
Mic drop. Fine. You win.
Let's go ahead and
No, I agree.
Think about like it is free to seek the Lord, completely free. And that will make you smarter. We were just talking to somebody who is a business coach. No. We were talking to his wife. He's a business coach, pretty big, lives, they live in our town. And he did not, what did he do? He didn't graduate college. Did he? I can't remember if he went at all. Just got, just had a tiny bit of college. I can't remember where he is, but he didn't graduate college and is talking to, what was it, like physicists and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
And he said...
Well, with like 8 PhDs and stuff like that.
And the guy said to him, what school did you go to? And he was like, I didn't really
graduate
go.
college.
Yeah. And he said it was just because I'm seeking the Lord, God's showing me how to.
Well, yeah. And this guy who is like the highest of high level education, again, multiple PhDs. Like he said, I only know 10 people in the entire world who know this thing that you're talking about. Like, how did you learn this? Like he didn't understand.
And he was like, I just spent time with the Lord.
Yeah.
That's it.
So the Lord revealed to him. So anyway, point is, yes, completely agree on that. But in terms of, but within that, I still think spend some money on education. That should be part of the equation. Buy books so that you can develop the work. Yeah, and let this be, what is the thing that God has put in you? What are the skills and how can you develop them and learn how to develop them, learn how to get better at them.
Right.
Buy courses, buy books, whatever that is to do that.
Yep.
All right, that's number one. Number two, going shopping without a list. But so this is like super minor or seems like too small to be on a list. It's way smaller and seemingly insignificant compared to the previous one. But
well, what are we shopping for here without our list?
Well, I think it should be everything.
Because sometimes you just have to move with the spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So anyway, so the idea is going shopping with no agenda means that I'm going to waste money today. Like,
Right.
And I, and this is why, on a smaller scale here, is why, well, there are so many thoughts here, but like why we actually save money by using Instacart to buy groceries than if I go into the grocery store myself.
Right, because everything looks good when you're in there. You're like, ooh.
If I go into the grocery store without a list, well, and even if I do have a list, I still have to like stick to it. But if I buy on Instacart and just go in the, what did you previously buy or whatever,
right,
and then I just go get those things that I need.
There's a lot less impulse shopping.
Yeah. And so the point is, I'm essentially using a list of what I previously bought and what we actually need.
Right.
And that for us just actually curbs spending to the point that it's actually, even though we had to pay for Instacart and the delivery and all this stuff, it actually is cheaper for us than if I went there.
Right.
So
and
that's a powerful.
This is actually why I literally make all my kids try on all of their clothes from the previous season to see what we need to fill in the holes with, and then I make a list based off of that.
Because clothes is so, especially like when you get a closet like yours where you just have relatively, compared to me, a lot more stuff. It's really easy to not remember exactly what you have and then just go buy stuff you don't need.
Right.
Right. And it's like, I just feel like going to buy some shirts. It's like, all right, well, do you need all those shirts?
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like buying them.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
All right, number 3, saving money instead of investing in yourself. Okay. And this is kind of similar to what we were talking about in the
I
education
will say this
side.
sounds kind of like the same thing. So
Yeah, it is pretty similar, I would say, because, one of the illustrations that we highlighted, and again, this came from Alex Hormozy, and I thought this was such a great way to say it. He said, because like we're all for investing. Like we obviously have an investing course, 10X investing course, where we teach people how to get started investing as beginners and all that stuff. But one of the things that he says that I love so much is like investing in yourself is always going to pay the best returns. And so he gave an example of, he had someone who came to him with $500 to invest and said, what's the best way to invest this? And he's like, well, here's what you could do. You could, and this person, young 20s, I don't think they had a college degree, and we're trying to figure out like what to do.
how to make the most money in life, right?
Well, how to invest it. This is what they came and asked him. It's like, how do I invest this? And he said,
yeah.
you can go put it in the S&P 500, and it's averaged about 10% over the last, 10 years or whatever. And so you do that, and you can expect to make $50 a year from that $500 investment, So that's not bad. Like, that's a pretty reasonable investment to make.
Right.
So, or you could go get a phlebotomy certificate that costs you about $500 to get, and you instantly double your income from what the person was making, like whatever, $14, $15 an hour, to you're going to double your income to nearly $30 an hour in a matter of a month or two by spending that $500 on that. Now, how much is that going to yield over the next 5, 10, 20 years?
Right. Yeah.
So
Good point.
That kind of mindset of what are the things that I can spend money on to develop myself, I think is really powerful. And the same thing applies here. Like, yes, we're all for saving money, like have some money in a savings account, have an emergency fund, all those things. But when you have an opportunity like that presented to you, now maybe you don't want to be a phlebotomist or whatever thing, but what is that thing for you?
Right.
Where it's like, I have this money in
Not
savings.
everybody wants to be.
Maybe I should take some out of savings to develop this particular skill in my life, to learn how to do this thing or whatever. And those are incredibly crucial questions to ask. And I did not understand this for so many years. And I wish someone would have taught me this earlier in my life, because I spent so many years just not doing that and not developing myself and not learning and not understand, not like you should do this, but as a, like, what is the opportunity that you are missing?
Right.
Because again, at this point in my life, literally, there's a book I read just a month or two ago. I'm like, this book the results of this book will probably be hundreds of thousands of dollars from what I learned from this over the course of the next decade or two. And it was a $15 book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we underestimate the potential of learning one little thing that could so drastically shape who it is we become.
Right.
Anyway, number 4 on this list, cooking instead of buying takeout. Okay. So this one I think is a little bit controversial, at least for me, because I don't fully agree with this. And this is something that Alex...
Did you make this list?
Well, I did, but like it's kind of based on some things that he said. And I want to present the counter argument because I think it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Okay. So it depends on what your focus is. Okay. So you can save a ton of money by cooking meals at home.
Right.
Right. But it takes time.
Yep.
Okay. So the question becomes, what is your time worth? Right. And so depending on your season of life, if you have more time than money, it makes more sense to cook at home rather than do that. But when you have less time and more money, it actually makes more sense to do the opposite.
Right.
Now, assuming you can find good, clean food and it's not going to be a detriment to your health. I'm not saying like go eating McDonald's every day or whatever. But the point is that if you can make more than whatever, $15, $20, $30 an hour, whatever that dollar amount is, do something to buy back your time.
Right.
And this is one of those things that you can do that. Because how many hours do you free up in a given week or a given month if you don't have to think about cooking at all?
Right.
Okay. So this isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
But this is a question that I have asked, and there are times where it makes sense. And so one of the things we're doing right now is using a food prep service for some stuff. And I actually enjoy cooking. So like that's part of the equation of what we're doing. But that's something that not enough people ask at the right time, is how can I buy back more of my time?
Well, and I think this particularly, like a very obvious one to me, is when we had newborns. And it's like, your time is precious. They're like, sleep when the baby sleeps. I'm like, but if I do that, then when I wake up, the only thing I can do is I can either eat or take a shower.
Yeah.
I can't do both. I really can only do one of those.
Yeah.
And so you really do have to ask like more difficult questions. And I think this is one of those instances where it's like, maybe if the food is delivered, I can't eat and take a shower. Yeah. But yeah, right?
Yeah. So the point is that
there are times when it makes more sense to do that.
Maybe it can go either way, but this is one of those things about personal finance I don't think it's talked about enough, is that the rules change based on your season and your phase of where you are in your financial journey. And so the things that get you from whatever, living in financial chaos to getting on like steady, stable ground are not the things that take you from that stable ground to being a significant multiplier. It's like there's different rules for different phases.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's what this falls into the category of for me. And honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's been an area where I've been kind of stretched in because I'm like, yeah, I should be finding a way to eliminate to essentially be able to buy back more time. That's what it comes with.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's number 4. Number 5.
And it's switched back and forth.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Right.
I think let's highlight that real quick because there have been seasons where, all right, based on what we're earning and what's going on financially, it makes sense for us to do this, to be able to buy back some more of that time so we can use that on higher and better purposes. But then financial situation changes. We might need to step backwards and move back into that other window. All right, number 5, living or being close friends with the wrong people.
Ooh.
Right?
This is a big one.
So again, this isn't just pertaining to 20-year-olds because like we've talked about, you spend time with the wrong people. It's such a subtle thing, but it's like you just happen. The people you hang out with determine so much about who you are. I remember it's Jim Rohn or said something like, in 5 years from now, you will be the sum of the people you hang out with and the books that you read.
Right.
And I think that is so accurate. It's just so accurate. And if you want to be different than the friends around you, then start moving some different friendships into that pond with you,
Right. Absolutely. Well, yeah, because I think part of it is the advice that they give you, but just a whole other piece of it is, do you feel like you are competing against them or comparing yourself all the time to them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have had seasons where there were even good godly friendships where you're like, a piece of this is right, but then there's another piece of it where I feel like I'm just comparing myself.
Yep.
And so, I mean, in that, it just became the trick of how do I maintain the friendship and the good part of this while removing the comparison piece away from me.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. And you still have some of those friendships while removing that piece that really made you feel like it hindered your walk with God because you were looking at what they were doing and trying to do that instead.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Number 6, modeling the wrong season of someone's life. Okay. So this is kind of what we were talking about before. Just of like doing different things in different phases. But again, it's easy to And so this kind of pertains to business, but also probably finance and money as well. But like, you don't want to copy
lots of different things.
You don't want to copy what some successful person is doing right now. You want to do what they did before they made it to where they are. You know what I mean? Like you want to model after what they did on that journey, right? And so I think it's really easy, again, as like we were talking about, 20-something or something, or even 30, like it doesn't really matter, like what the phase is, but I remember being a 20-something and seeing people in their 40s. It's like, oh, well, they're doing that. And if I was spending time around them, that's like, oh, this is what you do. Whatever it is. It's like, you don't cut your own lawn. You hire someone to cut your lawn.
Right.
But this comes back to, what do you have more of? Do you have more time or do you have more money? And if you have more money, then it's like, maybe it does make sense to buy back your time by have someone cut your lawn. But if you have all this time, like 20-somethings often do, especially single ones, then focus there. Like that's a better use of your time.
Well, and I think a really great lesson in having this discussion is, like for us to just point out, is the humility factor of like, answer these questions honestly. Sometimes things will make more sense. And just because you see someone who is paying for their lawn to get mowed, there could be a reason for that. And there also Do you know what I mean? Like there might be a different reason and they're sacrificing in a different area that you are unwilling to sacrifice in. Yeah. Comparison is just an ugly trap that I feel like gets us in so much trouble because there's not a full picture usually
never
of what is going on.
Yeah.
And so we're just making assumptions based off of small pieces of information
and
that we
making
have.
bad decisions based on assumptions.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Number 7, not measuring money in hours. And this is again, like that's what it equates to quite often. And that's a helpful framework that I've always liked is like, if I'm going to buy $100 pair of shoes or something like that, and I'm making $20 an hour, it's like, are these shoes worth 5 hours of my life?
Right.
Like, and just putting it back into that, it's like, I don't know. It just helps you evaluate spending decisions better.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
And of course, like if you,
and then
not every job is
if the answer is
hourly,
yes, then treat them like that.
Yeah. Are our kids listening to this?
I know.
Can we get
We're
them
going
in here on this
to
one?
force them to listen to it later.
Yeah. All right. Number 8, getting competitive about income instead of savings. So focus on how much you're putting into your investment account, not how much you are making. Many high earners have nothing saved.
Yeah.
This is so true. So true. So true. So true. We, again, this is one of the primary focuses of our Mission Driven Millionaire program. We're helping our students basically get this sorted out. Free up the margin to have money to save, build up automated systems so that there's money going in there every month. The savings are building automatically without any pain. And that is such an essential piece because, again, it's like something like 40% of people making over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
It's like 33% of people making over $250,000 a year are still paycheck to paycheck. So the point is, plenty of these people, a third of the people making $250,000 a year have nothing left at the end of the month.
And I think
Like,
there's so many people thinking, man, if I made $250,000 a year, I'd be rich. I'd never have any worries again, you know?
Expenses rise to meet income, and then you have nothing left. And man, that's really frustrating. It's one thing if you're like, I have a terribly low salary and I can't get anything saved. But when you have a big salary and you can't get anything saved, that's incredibly frustrating.
Right.
You know? All right. 9, never spending on once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Again, a little bit of a counterpoint again. But this actually came from a book I read called Die With Zero. And again, you got to understand that certain lessons are for certain points at your life, for certain people. And there are some of you listening to this right now, this is exactly the opposite of what you should hear. And some of you need to hear this, okay? But this book, I loved it. It was called Die With Zero. And the point of it is that there are certain experiences that only make sense in certain decades, okay? So whatever, the 20s thing and like going to Europe and sleeping, you know, traveling around Europe in a backpack, sleeping in hostels and whatever, it's like, it's probably not for a lot of 50-year-olds, you know? It's like...
It's not for me.
And you're welcome to do it, but it's like...
I was interested in that when I was 20. I'm not interested in that
that's my
anymore.
point. That's exactly the point. And there are things that we're interested in right now that we won't be in 20 years and we wouldn't have been 20 years ago.
Right.
And so that's an important thing to consider. And I don't think this necessarily means that you have to spend a whole bunch of money to do this. But for example, with every passing 5 or 10 years, I become less and less interested in camping. Right?
Really?
So, yes.
I didn't realize that. I thought you were still just as interested.
No.
Good to know. But I use that to my advantage.
No, but the point is that, let's say 10, 15 years ago, I'm like, oh yeah, I love this. This is great. And now we have little kids and, you know, and they want to go. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. You know, I'm going to be the dad, like we're going to do the thing. But I can imagine 20 years from now, I'm like, man, I really do not want to go sleep on a cold ground with rocks and branches under me. And like, you know what I mean? Like, so anyway, all of that to say, like, I think this applies regardless of whether you're spending a lot of money on the other things or not. Right?
Sure.
Right? Are you just still like in awe of me saying that?
Yes, I really am.
So
I'm kind of just like, I don't even know what your last sentence was a little bit because I can't wrap my brain around that.
Okay, so the side note.
Bob used to want me to go camping so bad. Please, please, please. And I've been like, dude, I am not a camper. Like this.
Okay, this all stems from one mistake that I made.
It does not stem from one mistake,
One
but
camping mistake.
that definitely did not help at all.
Do you want to tell them what it was?
When did you guys go? Okay, so it was you and another guy.
Was it in the 1900s?
It was in the No. It was in the 2000s. The aughts.
Okay.
Yeah. Aught 7, maybe aught 6. Where you were like, yeah, we're going to go camping one night. And then the second night, you and my friend's wife or whatever are going to come meet up with us and we'll camp a second night, the 4 of us. And I was like, I think it was in late October, November. And I was like, it is going to be too cold. And you said, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's not going to snow. I said, dude, if it is cold, I am not sleeping outside on the ground in 30-degree weather. And you're like, no. Okay. We get there. First night, I don't know what your experience was. Second night, we get there and it is snowing. Okay. The pipes are in danger of freezing over. So they've just shut down the campsite bathrooms. And it's like, here's a hole in the ground. And we go on a hike in the snow. I remember going on a hike in the snow. And you're like, this is going to be so magical to sleep here tonight. And I was like, you told me that if it was going to be this cold, I wouldn't have to sleep here. So we left.
I think we had only been married a few months or something, right?
I absolutely cried because I was like, this is just absolutely ridiculous. I'm not sleeping here.
Anyway, so you're just enjoying that I'm saying I don't love camping as much as I did in my 20s.
Yeah, well, and since then you've been like, come on, this is good for you to not be so comfortable. Don't live such a comfortable life.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this is not, yeah. All right. And for another context, every night when it's time to go to bed, Bob shuts all the windows, turns off all the lights, and lets me walk from wherever I am in the bathroom or something to our bed in the dark. And every night he says, it's so good for you. You should learn how to walk in complete darkness in case we ever have to do this in real life. I'm like, the moon is outside. Like, why would I have to walk in complete darkness?
You know that I'm right.
I don't know that you're right. I still don't think that that's true. What happened to flashlights or candles?
It is a good habit to develop.
How? That's like being blindfolded and being like, you need to practice being blind.
I think it's a good skill to develop.
For what purpose?
I don't know.
Well,
the time will come. The time will come.
No.
All right, let's get to number 10.
This is ridiculous.
Number 10.
This is what I have to live with, guys.
Number 10 is living in inconvenient locations. Okay, so I think this is an interesting argument. But the point here is to pay extra, to live close to work, to the gym, to good food, whatever.
Well, finally, you're taking the wisdom that I've been trying to bestow upon you all these years.
Yeah, because the time saved that you have is oftentimes worth more than the money. And, so example of this, I used to work with a woman at my last job many, many years ago now. And she drove, I think it was like, again, probably $15 an hour job or something. I mean, just not a great pay. But I think she drove like an hour and 10 minutes
My gosh.
to work and then an hour and 10 minutes back. And I'm like, there is no way that you could not find a job that pays close to this, closer to home.
Closer to home.
Like, she didn't like the job. It's not like she was doing it because she loved it.
Yeah, it wasn't her passion. It wasn't her
even
calling.
Like a career path per se. It was just a job. And I'm like, what are you thinking? Like driving this far away. And on the other hand, like being able to be really close and walk to work or something or ride your bike, like whatever. Like, it's just a lot of benefits to stuff like that. And I think, again, if the gym is really close and it's not 25 minutes away, you're more likely to go, right? Or whatever that thing represents. Like maybe that's church, like being closer to your church or whatever thing. But I think it's important to factor those things into your decisions because those are small things that add up.
Right.
And again, I think can be significant over the course of a decade or two.
Well, and I think you've done a teaching lesson, something on what is the actual, what are you actually getting paid?
Oh yeah, your real hourly wage. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, what is that costing you in gas?
Yep.
And whatever. And are you actually making enough that it makes it worth it?
Yeah.
Because like she could maybe make $13 an hour and still be in the end making more than she is because of the gas that it costs her to get there every day.
What's the value of your time?
Right.
Like spending 2 hours in the car every day.
Right. And maybe she enjoys it. Maybe that's her time with the Lord.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't
I don't know.
for this one.
I don't think it was for her. But anyway.
But I mean, there are things that would make it worth it. It's not for us to say, I guess is my point.
Yeah.
But, right. Ask the question.
All right. So let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear what else you would add to this list. What do you disagree with? Because there's some, I don't want to say controversial, but definitely like some of these, like I put them on this list where I'm like, I could see an argument for both sides of this, And like we were saying, certain things apply to certain phases and seasons. But
Right.
What would you add to the list? Let us know. And thanks for hanging out. Leave us a thumbs up or a follow or a subscribe or any of the things.
Yep.
Or a woof. Do you remember anyway, this is for Office Insiders, but Ryan created a woof thing where you send a text message.
Text, email, fax. What else?
I don't know. Bells start dinging everywhere. And anyway, that's what happens on Slack. Every time somebody tries to huddle me now, I have like 5 different devices. They're all ringing in different ways. And it's like, anyway, I think of that every day. Random fun thing of the day. All right. See y'all.
Okay. Bye.